according to the Virginia Sheriff's Association, the amount of positions that will be lost to the first $2 billion reduction is estimated to be 1,500 on the first $2 billion, not counting yet the second. And then, Mr. President and members of the Senate, the one that, you know, we all have our preferences. They're all important. But when I picked up my local newspaper around 5:30 a.m. on Wednesday, January the 20th, it all really began to hit home. Headline in the Freelance Star, dated January the 20th, Hill, Superintendent. Superintendent budget cuts, 131 school positions being eliminated in Spotsylvania County. And believe me, this is based on the first $2 billion. This is in Governor Kane's actions. This doesn't count the actions by the House of Delegates and by what Governor McDonnell has decreed as there can be no tax increases during this session. Now, Mr. President, the list is not complete. I had hoped by the day I stood here, I could give you a full rundown. Our state workforce, we haven't even talked about. VDOT, the other dedicated state employees whose jobs will be lost. It is in the hundreds and hundreds of state employees' jobs based on the first $2 billion. I haven't talked about those shared positions, state, local positions in the constitutional officer's office, the treasurers, the commissioners of revenues, the clerks of court, the Commonwealth's attorneys. I'm glad we're having a debate about jobs in Virginia. And I'm pleased that the governor of this state is taking that topic and pushing it and bringing forth proposals to do it. And I'm not taking exception to that. But, Mr. President, I am taking exception, strong exception, that our $2 billion hole has now been made $4 billion. And hundreds and thousands of Virginians are going to lose their jobs, their families affected. The quality of life of all of these dedicated public servants are about to be eliminated. It calls for leadership. It calls for action. It calls for us to do something we really don't want to do. And that's talk about the revenue side of this terrible plight we're in. What should it be? Well, we know there's certain things already off the table. But I would say this to you. Watch your local newspaper. If you haven't been absorbed yet with the number of state employee job losses, if the deputy sheriffs in your community mean anything, if these dedicated personal care workers who literally deal with our most vulnerable Virginians. As the lady who stood up at the public hearing right over here in the GAB, it was a bit, shall we say, crude, maybe perhaps right on the edge of crass, but the lady was standing with tears in her eyes, a quivering voice, a disabled young person standing by her side, terribly disabled, and she said to us, and the question is true, if we eliminate all these jobs, if we do away with it, if we're too afraid of the political fallout, who is going to wipe the snot? Who cleans up the blood? Who wipes the feces from those most vulnerable Virginians in each and every one of our neighborhoods? Our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues. Who's going to do it? The campaign is over. Let's put it in the closet. Save it for another day. I'm proud of what the governor was able to say to America last night. I'm proud of what our president's doing, but it's time to get down to work. It's time to get down to work for these thousands and thousands of Virginians, people that we depend on. Now, I'll confess, I'm a bit biased when it comes to people who work in the public sector. I spent 34 wonderful years there. Wouldn't trade it for a second. But when we lose these jobs, my friends, we're not only losing the jobs, we're losing the service that goes with those jobs. Those deputies that drive around my neighborhood and protect my home, I'm in danger of losing that. Those teachers in the schools that teach our kids, those assistants, those technology experts, those people who are paid a minimum wage to take care of the cleanliness of our most fragile, frail elderly people in nursing homes. Are we up to the challenge? Have we got the political stamina to do what we know has to be done? We know Governor Kane's budget. Here it is. You all have got it. It's been printed. He made painful choices that I wish didn't have to be made, on $2 billion worth of cuts. They're here. We can all see them. We know what they are. We've been spending weeks trying to get our arms around them. But what we don't know is the second $2 billion. What's the plan? What is our governor's plan to address the second $2 billion by proclamating, and then actions in the House has come true? What is the plan to address the second $2? Tell us.